welcome back to All Things Money. I'm your host, David Blain. It's tax season again. It's officially after the 1st of April. If you haven't started your taxes yet, you've got a couple extra days this year. The deadline is actually April the 17th. Whenever the 15th falls on a Sunday, it goes to the next day. And this year, the District of Columbia, I guess where the IRS is headquartered, the 16th is a holiday, so that bumps it to the 17th. So you've got till April 17th this year. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. Really not the subject of what I want to talk about today, but it's becoming increasingly harder and harder with more and more reporting requirements, the complexity of the tax code to get the taxes filed on time. It wouldn't surprise me if at some point they move that deadline. More and more people are forced to file extensions. I don't know if you've experienced the same thing, but anyone with an investment income, the deadline for the 1099s used to be January the 30th. Now it's February the 15th, and for private or for publicly traded partnerships such as your MLPs, some of those type of oil and gas partnerships, things like that, your commodity ETFs, anything that's a publicly traded partnership, the deadline to get that information to the taxpayer is March the 15th. If you're a member of a private partnership or LLC or something like that, the deadline to get you the K-1 is April the 15th. A lot of people don't realize that. Anyway, so what we want to talk about today is as you're doing your taxes or you go to your accountant, or in our case, we do most of our clients' tax. If you're bringing it to us, don't forget about these things. These are things that a lot of people don't realize are taxable. Number one, unemployment benefits. Under the tax law, unemployment is considered wage income and is taxable. If unfortunately, you got laid off from your job last year and were sitting around collecting the paycheck, now when it comes tax time, you'll get a form, a 1099-G for government payments that will list your unemployment. Most people, I've never been unemployed, so I don't know exactly how it works, but I've never seen anyone that had any withholdings. I guess when you file for it, they generally don't encourage you to take it out. But yes, it's taxable, and they withhold the 10% of 10% is the standard withholding, but a lot of people, if you're still over that 10% bracket, you need more withhold, and so most people don't realize that they need to withhold. I guess the thing is, if you're unemployed, your salary goes down, and so maybe you don't have that much income. But anyway, don't forget about unemployment benefits. I'll admit I'm not an expert in unemployment benefits. Most of our clients aren't eligible for that, but I have seen a few of those. Number two, alimony received. If you receive alimony, separate maintenance payments, or a similar payment from your former spouse, they're taxable to you in the year that you receive them. However, child support is not taxable. So a lot of people, this is a key thing in divorce settlements, is how it's allocated in the in the divorce settlement. If it allocates a specific amount to spousal maintenance or child support is not taxable. Spousal support is also deductible. If you're paying spousal support, it's deductible. So the spouse receiving it pays the tax. The spouse paying it is tax deductible. A lot of people don't know that. Here's a big one: forgiven debt. Getting your credit card debt cut. Maybe you had a loan on a car or something like that, and you were forgiven that, is taxable to you as the recipient. It comes on a 1099-C called canceled debt. Now, under the Mortgage Debt Relief Act that went into effect in 2007, some homeowners who have mortgage debt forgiven won't have to pay tax on that amount. It's somewhat complicated. There are some limits. It's limited up to $2 million, applies to mortgage debt discharged by a lender between 2007 and 2012, and it can only be for your primary residence, not for a second or vacation home. So if you've had debt discharged or forgiven or reduced, it could be income to you. If it's mortgage debt, make sure you understand the rules very carefully, as you may be able to exclude that from your income. Another thing with the Mega Millions lottery last week, fresh in a lot of people's mind, don't forget those prize winnings are also taxable earnings to you. It includes non-cash prizes. If you're awarded a non-cash prize, most of the large or reputable companies are good about sending a 1099 declaring the value you won. But for example, let's say you win a new car worth $50,000. Well, guess what? You're going to get a 1099 that includes $50,000 of income on it. And so that's an unexpected surprise for a lot of people. Back on the lottery real quick, I was doing a lot of research on lottery. It's just sort of a fascinating thing. I personally don't play the lottery, but just to let you know, winning the lottery actually increases your chance that you will file bankruptcy by something like 200%. Just kind of a little fun fact to know that the majority of people that win those big things, they can't handle the money and they end up going bankrupt. All right, the last thing that is taxable that you may or may not know is, of course, Social Security. Generally, if Social Security is your only income, it's not taxable. But if you collect Social Security plus other income, as much as 85% of your Social Security may be taxable. And there are different limits depending if you're single or married, but it surprises a lot of people, especially if they have they start withdrawing money, say from a 401k, they hit 70.5 and they have to take minimum distributions out, and their Social Security was not taxed, and now all of a sudden they have to take out another $30,000 from their IRA, pushes them into another tax bracket, and now their Social Security is taxed. Just a little bit of unintended tax for people. So anyway, there was 5 things that thought you might want to think of. Unemployment benefits, taxable. Alimony received is taxable. Certain types of forgiven debt is taxable. Of course, those prize winnings are taxable, whether it be cash or goods that you received or even a service. And Social Security earnings in some cases also may be taxed. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. If you missed some of today's show, head on over to the website, www.dlblain.com. There we post in the archive copies of the show after about a week or so. So that's about it for today. I hope you'll join us again next week at the same time and the same stations. I'm your host, David Blain.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of WNBU and Inner Banks Media.